great to be back.
Welcome to another HITO Award Show, third annual 2024.
That's right.
It's HITO season.
It's the most prestigious award show of the season, folks.
That's right.
And, you know, right here, it's coming out for the Wednesday Weenies on the new year.
On the new year.
As we ring in 2025, we take a look back, we reminisce, and we engage in some hindsight to see who exactly was the worst and best in various different categories.
That's right. We are handing out awards today, the coveted, most beloved prizes in all of entertainment are coming from this award show today as we peer into the past and see what this great year had in store for all of us.
Exactly. It's really a time of celebration. And that's just it. It's a time of celebration.
I'm celebrating.
It's the HITO Award Show 2024, folks.
Nothing went wrong this year.
No.
Nothing notable.
Nope.
All good, as we will surely get into. So if you don't know what we do around here, we're going to go through each of our categories that you hopefully voted in throughout the past week.
It's your civic duty.
We're going to award our Hitonies, if you know what I mean. And then we are going to do our yearly bracket where we break down what the worst discourse was this year.
Yes.
And that'll be coming the second half of the show.
Boy, was there a lot.
Yeah, unfortunately. Now, before we get into all of that, as we always do at the top of episodes, we're going to remind you to go check out the Patreon.
Please.
We are heading into a new year.
We are.
And this means it's another year of HITO. And, you know, I've enjoyed being a humble podcaster.
It's nice.
It's a small operation, but I think we get a lot done. We pump out a lot of content. But I'm tired of being humble.
I am. I need you guys to blow up my ego.
Yeah, I want the inflated ego to be justified.
Exactly.
I want to have reason to have the inflated ego because we just have that much money. So head over to the Patreon, support the show, and of course, early access to all of our content, and you get in on the HITO postcard program. Maybe next time around, some of you will be getting some educational attainment in the mail.
100%.
We'll see.
And that's what I was going to say. You know, 2024, you know, HITO, looking back on the year for the podcast itself, we unlocked the postcards. We unlocked the postcards for our loyal members of the Patreon. We've sent out, what, 3?
3 so far.
3 this year, all bangers.
All bangers.
All bangers, beautiful handwritten notes on the back.
Signed
by one of us truly.
We just hit 1,000 on Discord last night.
That's pretty cool.
And we were definitely not anywhere near 1,000 at the beginning of the year. So lots has changed. I meant to look at the Patreon analytics before starting the show, but we've gained like a couple hundred patrons
it's been
in 2024. So HITO to the moon, basically.
HITO 100% to the moon. We got the postcards. Next year, let's get that community art challenge. Let's get that community art challenge and whatever else is in store for us.
But before we get onto our categories, as we always do, we have to read our 5-star reviews that you left. And we do thankfully have some today. If you're getting your reviews read on the 2024 HITO Award Show, you should feel very special.
Absolutely.
Because this is, you're on the stage in front of thousands of fans right now.
You're immortalized with all the wonderful things and people that we will be talking about later on.
That's right. So you should be happy to be here. We're glad that you left your review.
Yes.
If you want to leave a review and have it read on the show, maybe you'll have your review read on the first show that we record in the new year.
Oh my goodness.
Go to Apple Podcasts, leave a review. If that doesn't work, message us on Instagram or something.
If you remember, if you're foreign and wrong and bad, then you have to send it to us on Instagram.
If you're from Europe especially, boo.
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 If you're from France, don't even bother.
No, don't even bother.
Frankly.
Doesn't matter. I can't read your language anyway. You want to take this first one here?
I will take this first one. This one, I'm Not a Pollster by Nahan. It wasn't your thighs that made me condemn Hamas.
Oh my
God. It was the rhetoric that you both embrace. Oh my goodness, off to a great start. I'm a weenie because of funds, but you guys kill it so far that the fact my German husband, who is very unpolitical, laughs when I play your show. Politically speaking, I've never been polled. Hamas is bad, and I'm not a Democrat. I educationally vote down ballot, and it happens to be blue.
Oh my God.
Praise be right there.
Oh my God.
Sue me.
Consequentially.
Regardless, you both are a light in the dark, and I appreciate that even though I'm the enemy within.
Me too.
At least I'm not alone. Best, bros. Also, thanks for the follow on Blue Sky. You all need a woman on the show sometime soon. Contact me, you whores.
We've had women on the show before.
We've had women on the show. We pride ourselves on not having another white guy except Donovan.
That was one time, but also like
that was one time on a separate show.
He's an important member of the HITO canon.
He is. That's a mod on Discourse.
Yeah,
right
and that was on
leader.
That was on people of interest, and you know, he's a humble guy, but I'll say he's a person of interest.
Yeah, 100%. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But we've had women guests on before.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll have more if you go over to Patreon.com. Do we have any other reviews? I don't see any more.
That's the only review on Apple. So, you know, thank goodness we're not ending off 2024 as bad as we could have with a no review episode. But I mean, guys, come on.
Yeah.
In 2025, I expect a lot more out of you all as a community.
Yeah. As long as we don't get censored, as long as our operation doesn't get shut down.
Yep.
We'll see, but let's get into the categories. I think
let's get into what we're all here for.
We're not doing news coverage today. Maybe we'll talk a little bit about recent events. Some of you may have heard that there's lots of there's like a right-wing civil war happening on Twitter. That's
right-wing civil race war.
That's
really.
Yeah. Well, that's how you know it's a really slow news week. We're talking about Twitter news exclusively, but it's a good week for a HITO Award Show because not a ton happened in terms of political news. So we can go back and look at old news stories.
Yeah.
Starting off with a persistent category, one that we've had in the last two award shows, one that's making a return here, and that is most absurd local news story.
That's good. We are the #1 local news podcast.
Exactly. We're basically on the ground reporters. I don't know about you guys, but that's us.
Yeah, I'm traveling around the country just interviewing.
Now, this category, last year's winner, was Missouri State Senator Mike Moon defending child marriage.
That was a good one.
That was a crazy story. If I remember correctly, his argument was that, sometimes high school sweethearts meet and they're like 12 and they can get married and be happy.
Yep.
Which is an interesting
Didn't he
defense.
say something along the lines of like, I know people who got married when they were 12 and they're chilling. Really?
Wow.
Really? You're in great company there, aren't you?
So that was Mike Moon's argument, and that was crazy. That won last year's most absurd local news story. But this year, here are the categories.
Okay.
Oklahoma introducing Trump Bibles to classrooms.
Oh, that's a banger.
Portage, Ohio sheriff that promised to make a list of people with hair signs in their yard.
Whew.
That was a banger. Alabama Supreme Court banning IVF.
A rhetorical W.
Heterosexual Awareness Month in an Idaho bar. This was done during Pride Month, of course.
Very on brand.
And a recent submission to the Head in the Office podcast, how to deport your neighbor's letters in Lincoln, Oregon.
Submission at the 11th hour, but I think it's still a contender.
So which one do you think deserves the prestigious award here?
What do I think deserves the award? Yeah. I'm going to say how to deport your neighbors.
That is crazy.
I think that is the most crazy local news story that we've covered this year. But, Portage, Ohio, that's a sleeper hit. Mm-hmm. It's a sleeper hit. That was a bad one.
Yeah, and it's sort of hard to compare these here because some of them are on a state level, some of them are very local. Like the Alabama Supreme Court news is like a statewide thing. Yeah. But also, Alabama never makes the news, and they come out and they just do something that would come out straight from like the fucking 1920s or something.
They do something that's absurd.
Yeah, absolutely absurd. But also, Oklahoma introducing Trump Bibles exclusively to the classrooms was crazy.
That is crazy.
Because, like, what do you mean?
What do you mean? Why the Trump one?
Yeah.
why the Trump one?
They didn't come out and just say the Trump Bible. They just writ the curriculum and the requirements in such a way where only the Trump Bible would qualify to be introduced to the schools, which is funny.
Incredibly interesting.
Yeah. But I don't know. This is a tough one for me. It's a tough category. Should we see what the
I think we should see what the community said. Drum roll, please. Oh shit.
Fucking drummer boy. Yeah. And the winner is Oklahoma introducing Trump Bibles to the classrooms.
Let's go. It's not my picks. It's not my picks, but I can't be mad at it.
I will say it was a very tight contest. They only won a plurality of the vote. Oklahoma did with 31.3% of the votes out of about 200 responses or so.
200 responses. That's the community showing up.
And second place was the Portage, Ohio story with the sheriff.
Okay.
And in third place was how to deport your neighbor. So it was all a very, very tight contest.
Honestly, all in bad company. There, I mean, all these stories in bad company. I'm not surprised that it was a close one, and frankly, I'm not mad at the results.
Yeah. So congratulations to Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Be better next year.
Specifically, congratulations. So what's his name?
Ryan Walters.
Ryan Walters. Yeah. Congratulations, Ryan Walters. Your Hitoni will be in the mail. Mm-hmm. I kid. I jest.
Next category. You want to take this one?
I do. This one. Guys, this one's a good one. Mm-hmm. This one, there's been a lot of discourse surrounding this category.
Lots of ammunition.
The worst Democrat/leftist/liberal of 2024. Last year's winner, John Fetterman.
Deservedly so.
Absolutely deservedly so. Yeah. Even looking back, I cannot think of somebody who would have been worse than John Fetterman.
It's true.
It completely deserve it. And this year our categories are, get ready, they're good. Joe Biden. John Fetterman again. Can he get the two-peat? Kamala Harris. Joe Manchin, and Democratic, quote, strategists.
This is a tight category, right?
Absolutely. This is a tight race. I wouldn't be surprised if this one's even tighter than the last one.
Now, I'm almost immediately feeling the need to give it to Joe Biden.
Absolutely,
because if anybody is responsible for how bad this year was for left-wing people, it's President Joe Biden.
100%. This is a nightmare blunt rotation.
For the immigration bill that was terrible and basically tanked the rhetoric the Democrats could actually do on immigration. Yeah. For him being super old and holding every Democrat accountable for basically saying nothing about his age. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, for running for re-election in the first place.
These are my sleep paralysis demons.
Mm-hmm.
They are. They come and I can't move, but my eyes eyes are open and they haunt me at night.
Exactly. This is what I'm thinking about.
They chant around me and chant vote, 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 and that's it. I tried.
Yeah.
I did.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Kamala Harris, of course, could have ran a better campaign.
She could have.
I don't know if we can really say Joe Manchin deserves it. Because I think he might have won in 2022, which, or him or Kirsten Sinema.
That was his year. If there's ever going to be a year for Joe Manchin to win the least valuable Democrat award, it's then.
It's then. Yeah, absolutely. It was either him or Kirsten Sinema, one of the two. But, I mean, you get to the bottom of the list, and there it is.
There
it is.
The one that stuck out.
There's Jen O'Malley Dillon. There's David Plouffe. It's Democratic strategists. If I know Kamala Harris being the leader of the campaign, being the candidate on the campaign, she can make things happen whenever she wants. If she wants something to change, it'll change. But you cannot deny the influence of these Democratic strategists that go through the revolving door, working at Uber or working at Lyft, then go back into the government, back and forth, and infect the campaigns with their stupid ass Liz Cheney campaigning bullshit.
And frankly, I don't think, at least to the best of my knowledge, that Kamala Harris went out there and said publicly that she cried when Joe Biden stepped down. Mm-hmm. That's damning, folks.
And to be fair, it was kind of forced on her.
It was.
I'm sure she would have run. And she might have even won a primary if we had like a quick primary at the convention. But Joe Biden just endorsed her as soon as he dropped out. Maybe she didn't want this. You know what I mean?
True.
Maybe she didn't want it.
Maybe she didn't want it. That's a good thing to point out when we're thinking about who could win this category. But man, Joe Biden, we can't forget that he came through with a submission at the 11th hour in his favor when he came out this week and said something or people around him came out this week and said Joe Biden was saying that he could have won.
Yes, I did see that. That's so funny.
Man, if it wasn't Joe Biden originally, I'd be hard pressed to say that it shouldn't be him now.
Yeah, that's a certified old man moment.
After he thinks he would have won after not working the last 3 years.
I could have gone pro if I didn't tear my ACL.
Back in college, man, it's crazy.
Man, I would have been the best of all time.
Exactly.
That's literally fucking Aaron Rodgers saying I would have been better than Tom Brady if I didn't break my knee or whatever he did. It's the same thing.
It'd go crazy.
Go away, old man.
Please.
Nobody cares about you. So Joe Biden, it's either Joe Biden or Democratic strategist.
It's got to be. It's got to be. You know what I mean? Maybe in a perfect world, Democratic strategist edges out Joe Biden, but I could not be mad if either of them win. Let drummer boy, please.
Let's hear it. And the winner is, by a wide margin, Democratic strategists. They won a clear majority, 53.3% of the vote. That's crazy. And Joe Biden got 22.6%. So
was that the second highest?
Yeah. Yeah, second place.
Gotta be.
So gotta give the flowers to the Democratic strategists here. You really made it terrible.
Yeah.
And I hate you.
Not only were they bad, just rhetorically, not only do they have bad strategy, but they cost hella money.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just throwing money out. What, they throw $8 million at Beyonce or some shit?
Yeah, they spent hundreds of thousands on the Call Her Daddy set.
They had the most money a campaign's ever gotten in history ever, and then lost to Donald Trump.
Yeah, and we heard all this news. Oh, the Democrats' ground game is so much better than Donald Trump's ground game. It's going to be so easy.
You know who ran Trump's ground game? Elon Musk, and it was a scam and a lie.
And he won.
And
he fucking won, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Speaking of Elon Musk, though, we got to move on to the next category, which is worst Republican / conservative / right-winger of 2024. And now last year's winner was Ron DeSantis.
It couldn't have been anybody else but Ron DeSantis.
And Ron DeSantis, I listened back to our last year's HITO Award Show, and I think we made a pretty strong case for Vivek as well.
Okay.
Because he was very annoying. He didn't win. Ron DeSantis won. But, DeSantis...
Well, because that was his Don't Say Gay year, wasn't it? Or no, was that the year before? We've been doing the show for a while, folks.
Too long. I think Don't Say Gay and the Stop Woke and all that was 22, and that's when we were afraid of him.
That's right.
And then he ran for president, and we all laughed at him. And now I don't even think he's going to get a spot in Trump's cabinet, but maybe. Who knows? There's still time.
Happen.
But Ron DeSantis won last year's worst Republican, and this year we have quite a competitive slate, at least between some of the candidates.
Yeah, we do. Dare I say we needed. They're only limited to 5.
Yeah,
you only get 5 people right here that we can vote for. But let me tell you, there are so many more. It was a tight race to even get a nomination in this category.
It was tough. It was tough.
It's a tough year for them.
There were people balling out this year.
Yeah,
I mean they were balling out.
Yes, sir.
It's crazy. So let's take a look at these nominees. We've got Elon Musk, J.D. Vance. Donald Trump, Nancy Mace, and Greg Abbott. Those are our contenders for worst Republicans. So
all of these people have an incredibly strong case to win this at Tony in this category right here. You know what I mean? And honestly, I think this is so stacked that Nancy Mace has the least chance of winning.
Oh, I know.
With how awful she's been all year, I feel like she's still, just isn't even in the same league.
Well, and Nancy Mace put in the work the last few weeks after she learned who Sarah McBride was. But I just don't think it's enough to compete with the rest of these fellas up here.
Not everyone else is putting up a performance, not only for this entire year, but had performances building up in the years prior to bring them to this point. This is quite literally their peak.
Exactly.
Could hopefully is their peak.
I mean, even compare her to Greg Abbott. Greg Abbott is dedicated to killing immigrants.
Yes.
He will kill immigrants, and he will get away with it.
He wants to do it with his bare hands.
And he wants to.
He does.
But I don't know if even Greg Abbott compares to the other three.
And I would have to agree, but dare I say, there's so many different ways that you can take this award. There's so much room for interpretation when it comes to this award. Because look at this. You take it as who's the worst Republican, traditionally, right? I'm gonna say maybe it's like a Donald Trump, Elon Musk, right? Mm-hmm. But if you want to say who's the worst Republican, as in who's the worst at being a Republican, maybe I'm gonna say JD Vance.
Yeah.
This
fair.
guy comes out, gets the VP pick, worst ever in history.
Oh my God, I hate JD Vance.
I hate that guy so much.
There are some charming things I can find in Donald Trump. He's a funny guy, you know what I mean?
He's hilarious. He makes me laugh.
He's ultimately evil, he's a sexual predator and that kind of thing. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
And I would never vote for him. I'd never support him politically or anything like that. But, there are things I can appreciate about the grift.
Uh-huh.
But for JD Vance, JD Vance is the kind of guy that appeals to the most annoying kid you've known at school.
Oh, he's a wet blanket on a cold night.
Yeah, exactly. He's an empty suit and he gets to pretend like he's working class while doing nothing for the working class. Where has this dude ever been for labor unions?
No, literally.
He never showed up for labor unions, never showed up for any organization that would actually benefit from the presence of their senator.
He lied about the child tax credit. I guess you can't say he lied about supporting the child tax credit, but he's a sitting senator who can propose the bill. Mm-hmm. He can bring that bill up. He can be like, hey, whoever, let's vote on this.
And we talk about JD Vance's performance this year. He dropped the Childless Cat Ladies line, I think, in 2021, but it went platinum this year.
Absolutely. No features.
Can you deny no features at all? Just
double
all
platinum,
him.
no features.
That was all him.
That's the no role models of political rhetoric this year.
That was before he was even in contention for vice president.
Yeah.
He did that for the love of the game. You cannot deny his impact on politics this year. And if we're talking worst Republican is whoever had the most harm, you got to give it to Vance.
I do. I sincerely hate that guy.
Yes. Yeah.
He had the whole thing about child care is too expensive. Ask grandma to help.
I know.
What the fuck are you talking
crazy.
about? And you want to say you're working class?
He's got crazy shit to say about menopause.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Man, that guy.
Sucks.
That guy. And speaking of people who didn't even make the category, Pete Hegseth.
Yeah.
He much like Nancy Mace, put in a great performance at the end of the road here. Mm-hmm. Pete Hegseth, Matt Gaetz, even too.
God. Fucking Pete Hegseth saying I'll stop drinking if I get DOD.
Exactly.
That's
dedication.
That's an instant classic. That is an instant. There are a few things that I've heard on this show that we presented to you on this show that make me think that's immediately a golden line, and that's one of them.
I'm gonna remember that forever.
Yeah,
truly. But back to these five. Just quick reminder: Elon Musk, JD Vance, Donald Trump, Nancy Mace, Greg Abbott. Mm-hmm. Who do we think's got it?
Oh, man, it's tough. It's tough. Elon Musk has also been unbearable this year.
Yeah,
it's fair.
I also hate that guy.
Yeah, I hate him too, but he's a bit more transparently evil, and it's a little easier to prove that. JD Vance is a fool smart man.
He's
you know
a
what
slimy
I'm saying?
weasel.
He goes crazy if you're stupid.
JD
Vance gets to pretend to be pro working class when all he really cares about is putting down non-white people, because that's all that white supremacy really is anyway. So it's tough. It's tough. Maybe we should let the community decide.
Yeah. What did the community say? Drummer boy, please.
And the winner is Elon Musk. And
I can't be mad at it.
Can you guess the margin? It's huge. Elon Musk won bigly. He won bigly.
30%.
He got 70%. Next runner-up, 10% JD Vance.
Oh my God.
Bigly. He won bigly.
How could I forget? How could I forget during my pre-announcement analysis? This is the year that he took over Twitter, isn't it?
No, that was last year.
Wasn't it late? Was it late last year? This is the first full year we've had of X.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. I don't know exactly where the times are, but Twitter is fully his beast now. I know what you mean. It's fully
his beast, and we've been able to watch exactly how he has been manipulating everything on there too.
Yeah.
And He just sucks.
He sucks real bad, especially with the most recent news of him.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, like he accidentally did a good thing, but for the wrong reasons. You know what I mean? Banning all the Groyper accounts because they came out against him because he said he was like pro H-1B visa.
It's crazy. He unbanned them after they were banned for, I don't know, fucking bad things with minors.
Oh yeah, posting like child porn. Or whatever.
Posting shit like that and just being evil. He unbanned them because free speech, and then they used their free speech, as the government defines it, and he said, "No, you're gone. Actually."
Yeah,
you're gone.
Can't support that. But yeah, I mean, I gotta give respect to Elon Musk. He's been about the hustle. He came out fully as a Trump supporter this year with being Dark MAGA. He's been jumping on stage.
Oh my God,
making a fool of himself.
Cybertruck. Oh, dog, need I say more?
I was a little bit of personal news.
Yeah,
I was beyond upset when I turned onto my street, narrow roads of Detroit, and there's a fucking Cybertruck right behind me. Oh, driving down my street.
I totally get what you're saying.
It pissed me off just looking at it.
I've already seen like a couple like Cybertrucks like driving around like independently over the last year. I've seen like 2 or 3, right? The other day I was in, I think, fucking Target.
Yeah.
And I saw a fucking black, like, murdered out Cybertruck.
Ugh.
That shit pissed me off so bad. I like it just irrationally. It made me so upset because it's like the Cybertruck already looks like a PS2 car.
I need them off the streets.
You make it any other color, you make it black, and it is absolutely a low poly PS1 car.
Yeah.
That shit is not cool, dog.
No, it's actually terrible. Like, why do you have this thing? I saw when I first saw the Cybertruck, it'd be like rarely. Like once, maybe every few months. And then I started seeing one around where I live, and it had like a company's advertisement on it. It looked like a company car.
My God. Some fucking shitty small business owner bought a Cybertruck, put their logo on it, and tried to write it off. That's exactly what happened right there. They put their logo on it so they can say, this is advertising.
Well, and when I saw it, I was like, I'm immediately never going to go to this business.
Oh, absolutely. It's anti-advertising.
Yeah, I don't like you. This is repelling.
It's the Dick Cheney anti-endorsement.
Repelling my consumerism. And then I saw it like driving around like it fucking lives there. Man. It is just so upsetting. It's a bad car. And for that reason alone, Elon Musk, worst right-winger. I'll take it.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, Cybertruck.
All right. Next category here. You got it?
Next category. We got the best character arc of 2024. This is the story that we wanted to follow the most. It's, who had the most development this year. And, this category, it's also a great one. Yeah, it's also a great one. First nomination, we got Joe Biden, Decay and Drop Out. Oh, my God. Come on now. Next, Eric Adams, the hometown hero.
Strong contender.
Come on, guys. New York City, am I right? Hunter Biden. That guy schlonged way too long. He had a lot of stuff happen this year. You know what I'm saying? RFK Jr. and the Brainworms. RFK had a big year this year.
Who's in control?
We don't know. RFK comes out. He drops out. There's a brainworm in his head. He's running that shit like Ratatouille.
Exactly.
That's a character arc right
He's
there.
inflected with the mind flayer parasite.
Exactly.
He serves the absolute.
Last but not least, JD Vance being just a genuine freak.
Yeah. These were great character stories. This is the year out of all of the years that we've been running this show. This is the year of characters for sure.
Oh, 100%.
Like we've seen Kari Lake, we've seen Blake Masters, we've seen some Dr. Raj running for Pennsylvania Senate. We've had some fun characters that we've covered. Recurring characters, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, but this year especially.
I mean, what better year to have just characters than presidential year?
Banger after banger after banger. I mean, every single person nominated to Trump's administration has been evil, maximally evil.
Yes.
In some way has in some way been tied to sexual assault allegations.
Oh my God, I know.
And we've just got a crazy list of people for best character arc. I don't know who to choose.
I don't know who to choose either, man, because these stories were good. Hunter Biden, man.
He's a free man.
Oh my goodness.
He's a free man.
He's a free man. He got a blanket pardon for everything he's ever done.
In the last 11 years, and I got to respect the grind.
I do.
The announcement came out right after Thanksgiving. He was pressing his dad for a pardon. And unbelievably, it worked.
He said, dinner, Dad, they're going to take me away.
I cannot shame him for that. And that's a good ending to his character arc across the length of this show.
He finally gets relief.
Since the beginning, we've been talking about Hunter Biden and the laptop and the dick pics and buying sex workers and stuff like that.
Dick pics in Congress.
And now dick pics in Congress, revenge porn, and now he is a free man.
Marjorie Taylor Greene should be put in fucking jail for making her staffer print out a picture of Hunter Biden's cock and bringing it to the Senate.
And showing it in front of Congress. And that staffer, importantly, had to put the censor mark bars.
Somebody had to do that.
Yeah.
She should be put in jail for that shit. That's got to be workplace harassment.
Yeah, that was crazy. She just gets away with that. Yeah, not great.
Nice. But back to these noms.
Yeah.
Back to these noms. Who do you think takes it?
I don't know. Like, I feel like Eric Adams and Hunter Biden, they can't really compete with the rest of these guys here.
No, absolutely not.
Eric Adams is hilarious, taking bribes from Turkish government officials or whatever. That is funny. And I hope he goes to jail for this eventually because Eric Adams is genuinely a demon. And when he got charged with this stuff, he said it was because Biden was going after him for not being pro-immigrant enough or something like that.
Of course, yeah.
So I can't respect the pivot to xenophobia. Like, that's cheap.
Yes.
Anybody can do that now. We could do that and make millions off of it.
It's a trope.
Yeah.
It's an overplayed cliche.
Hunter Biden, I think it's a good character arc for him, but I think he had his sort of climax, if you will, in 2023.
We've been in a falling action.
Yeah.
This is everything after, the big bad is defeated. Now he gets to live out the remainder of his years. He gets the pardon. He gets to rest now.
Yeah, and that's fair enough, but I don't think he wins the award.
No.
These other guys, though. Biden's decay, which is still a developing story, by the way, with that Wall Street Journal piece that came out last week. And all like the testimonies we're going to be getting for years and years and years. Like, his decay and then eventual dropout is going to be something that we continue to learn about, and that's gas.
Like, this character arc is continuing.
And that was the happiest I found myself this year. The happiest I found myself this year for this election was when we were talking about Joe Biden dropping out. That's when I was genuinely excited. That's when I felt like things were on the upswing, and that's when I felt like voters were actually going to be heard. And then, bad result, but still.
I will never forget the day that Joe Biden dropped out.
Oh, I was so happy.
There was so much hope. I was filled, there's so much joy going around. The future felt open.
It was a beautiful summer day in July in Michigan. It was glorious.
Right before we started recording, so we caught the news. Oh, my God.
That story
beautiful.
Genuinely inspired hope and optimism in me.
Yeah.
And the reaction, oh, my God, it was so beautiful. It was wonderful. It was squandered because she started campaigning with Liz Cheney. But if we stopped time the week after he dropped out, that is the happiest politically I've been all year.
1 month, July. Beautiful month.
Beautiful month.
Beautiful fucking month. July and early August. Oh, man, there's so much going on. But I'd be remiss to not at least use my voice on this award show to highlight someone who I think is a sleeper candidate. Okay. And that's got to be RFK Jr.
RFK Jr., yeah.
This year, we fully got the RFK pivot from hotshot environmental lawyer, pretty good environmental activist.
Kennedy last name,
to Republican that wants to bring back polio.
Oh, my God. The common cold is back.
Like, that is an arc.
Yeah, but see, RFK, similar to JD Vance, really annoys me. Like, in a similar kind of way, because they both do a kind of phony populism that doesn't actually get to any real issue that we should be talking about. Like, the shit RFK does is so fucking easy.
Yeah.
With all the conspiracies he spins, I could do it right now. Watch this. Big Water is trying to convince you that coffee dehydrates you so they can keep you complacent and docile. And I've run clinical trials that prove that coffee is actually better for you than water is.
Well, exactly. When I drink coffee in the morning, I feel way more energized than I would if I didn't drink coffee in the morning. In fact, when I drink coffee in the morning and then stop drinking coffee in the morning, I feel sluggish and in a slump.
Exactly.
Until I get my coffee. And they want to take that away from you because they can't grow it here.
Exactly. And in fact, drinking coffee makes you have to pee more, which means you're getting up and moving around. That's healthy.
That's really healthy. Yeah. The average American gets off their couch about 7 times a day. But then when you add coffee into the mix, the average American, that number shoots up to about 40.
Oh, what's this? You're showing me clinical trials that show the importance of water? That was all paid for by Big Water.
Well, of course.
I don't need to look at those. That's Big Pharma influencing you.
Exactly. I mean, guys, come on. It's there. It can be made money off of. Look at how much your water bill is every month.
Exactly. Imagine if that was a coffee bill.
I'm saying that.
See, it's just so fucking easy. He's annoying.
Yeah.
And it's upsetting that I'm going to have to hear him for the next 4 years. But look, this category isn't about who makes me happy or who I like to listen to. It's about the character arc.
But we got to also consider Ratatouille in his brain, Wormatouille in his brain.
Eating wild animals.
And I was going to say barbecue dog.
Yeah, barbecue dog.
Barbecue dog, beached whale pulls up on, shows up in New York. Was it RFK? Guys, that's a good one.
JD Vance didn't really, I guess he had a character arc, but it was more so revolving around like, do you think Trump is still Hitler and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And for that reason, maybe I lean towards RFK. I think my vote is split between Biden and RFK.
It's honestly, it's so easy to just go for the right.
Yeah.
It's just lazy.
Doesn't take any work.
Yeah.
I could do it.
But to go full liberal, like Joe Biden did this year,
yeah,
he's got it in my heart at least. If the audience disagrees, man, he's got it in my heart. That'll be it. Drummer boy, please.
The winner is RFK Jr. in the brain.
RFK Jr. Oh my God. That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
It's another hotly contested category. We really have our finger on the pulse this year, I think. RFK Jr. and the Brainworms won with 30.3% of the vote. Joe Biden came in second with 22.3% of the vote. So it was real close. It was real close.
Wow. Honestly, I'm surprised that this one is closer than worst Republican.
Yeah.
I am surprised. And while Biden still has it in my heart, like I said, I feel like I made a great argument for RFK as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson MVP debate. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Not Pat Mahomes.
Not
Pat Mahomes. Yeah, and I guess, this is a representative sample of the U.S. population, this voting form, of course. Like, we got our finger on the pulse of the American electorate. And I guess this is just proof that they fucking hate Elon Musk.
It's good.
And I support that hatred. I think hatred's a useful political tool. But moving on to our next category here.
Okay.
Most evil state of 2024. Last year's winner was controversial. It was a pick from the community that we vehemently disagreed with.
Yeah.
We thought Texas deserved the prize.
I still do.
You all thought Florida deserved the prize. But this year's contenders are Texas and Florida,
classics,
Oklahoma, Ohio, and Louisiana. Now, I will admit, I don't know why Louisiana got nominated so many times.
Neither do I. It's probably something to do with abortion, maybe?
I don't know. Somebody will let us know. And they'll be like, hey, check out this headline. And we'll be like, oh, yeah, I remember that.
Okay, yeah.
But Ohio, fair enough, produced J.D. Vance, but also produced Braun.
Yeah, so the greatest evil and the greatest good.
I don't. It's a hard choice.
The duality of it all.
Yeah, Oklahoma's a real contender this year.
Yeah,
they doubled, tripled, quadrupled down on the shit that they had been doing. Ryan Walters, of course, is a demon, but I mean Texas and Florida every single year, just consistent performances.
Consistent, really. I think
there's a clear winner.
I think I'd seen something out of Oklahoma this week. It might have been a different state. It might just be conjecture. I might be talking out of my ass, but it's a HITO Award Show. You know what I mean? No research goes into this.
Yeah.
It's just talking. This is my platform to yap. Yeah. I think in Oklahoma, they're trying to make it so that in order to graduate high school, you need to show that you're either going to the military, going to a trade school, or going to college.
Oh, that's crazy. We're just funneling people to war.
Literally.
That's crazy.
Because it's like, okay, you can't afford to go to college or you don't want to be a trade. Well, looks like you have to be a soldier to graduate high school.
We're doing conscription? What the fuck is going on?
I think that was out of Oklahoma. That was something that I saw this week, but who knows?
You can't just do that, dog. I thought we were like the greatest country on the planet for freedom.
I'm saying.
I thought you were free. After you graduate high school, you're either going to go to higher education, get a trade, or go die in war.
Yeah.
Come on, dog.
Yeah.
There's no other like life path, career path for people. What are we talking about? Oh my God. And I bet it was a Republican bill too. And I bet it was framed in like, oh, we're going to put kids on career paths. So we're going to make sure that everyone is prosperous in our state by fucking sending them off to war if they're too poor to afford a trade school or college. What are we talking about?
Yeah, no. So that would be very bad.
Oh, yeah.
I hope it's not real. But, that's why Oklahoma's in contention here. The fact that I believe that could happen if it's not happening.
Yeah.
Guys, come on now. Ryan Walters, he's really doing something for the state.
Yeah, speaking of things we do know for sure, Ryan Walters is a fucking demon. So Oklahoma might deserve most evil state of 2024, but we got to pick a winner.
Yes.
So you got any state you want to land on? For most evil state of 2024?
Once again, I got to say it's Texas.
I got to give it to Texas.
Got to give it to Texas.
I mean, almost every immigration story had something to do with Greg Abbott.
Suing the DOJ so that they can kill more immigrants? Mm-hmm. Come on.
And wasn't the whole, like, that one episode where Greg Abbott wasn't letting the National Guard cut the razor wire, wasn't that this year?
That might have been last year, but that lawsuit happened this year. And this year is where we found out that they won their lawsuit and they're totally allowed to put razor wire on the Rio Grande.
Yeah.
And just the entire border and the Buzzsaw buoys are chilling cool.
I thought that whole saga was this year because then we got the conservative immigration bill right after that. Because Biden was like,
that's right.
Rather than confront Greg Abbott, I want to be a Republican.
Guys, a lot happened this year.
I think Texas absolutely deserves it, but let's see what our loyal listeners think.
What did the community think?
And the winner is the Lone Star State.
Thank God.
Texas takes it.
I couldn't stand to see another snub this year personally.
No.
Texas just really just
When somebody works for it, you got to give it to them.
Exactly. Florida's bad, guys, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Florida's real bad. But they peaked their Don't Say Gay year. They peaked 2022.
Yeah. And Texas won with 55% of the vote. Florida came in second with 17.4% of the vote. So Florida showed up. Some Florida voters were there, but Texas just swept.
And outside of being evil, Texas doesn't even have cost of living like it used to have.
Yeah.
Texas is getting expensive as hell now.
Yeah, and Texas also has that mega highway.
Yep.
which is very cool. Texas's cities aren't even real cities, to be honest with you. They're kind of just like slabs of concrete with some buildings on them. So gotta respect Texas for being what it is. Hell. And I will I'll give them that category. But moving on. You got this next one? Most villainous person?
Absolutely, I got this next one here. Most villainous person of 2024. Netanyahu was last person's worst overall person winner award. Deservedly so.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't a guy that really deserved it more than him last year.
Oh, yeah.
This year, our nominees are Elon Musk.
Oh, my God.
Bibi Netanyahu, folks. Can't forget about him. Last year's winner. Maybe he can two-peat again. The median voter. Sleeper hit right there, I will say so myself. Jan Seltzer and Joe Biden.
Jan Seltzer, the false prophet.
Yes.
The false prophet. Yes. Now, this is a tough one because if we're talking material harm, I mean, Bibi Netanyahu.
Yeah.
Easily gets it. Because,
100%.
I mean, that dude is just strictly evil.
Yeah.
Last night, Donovan held a movie night showing a movie about Bibi Netanyahu, and that, I mean, he's just a bad guy.
Bad guy, awful guy.
Absolutely terrible person. So, I don't know. It doesn't really seem like a tough choice to me. The median voter, that's a funny entry.
That's a funny entry, and the funny BB kind of just like win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like BB kind of like wins it if you're thinking about worst person of the year. But like,
I mean, this is most villainous.
Like,
I mean, we're talking villains.
Yeah.
So
the median voter was pretty crazy this year.
And like Jan Seltzer, I was mad at her for a moment, but she did say like polling results can be incorrect.
she single-handedly depressed turnout.
Yeah, did you see that she's getting sued?
By who?
Trump is suing Seltzer's polling outfit, saying that she like influenced the election, even though he won Iowa by 13
even though she was
points.
wrong, even though she was the most wrong she's ever been. That's crazy. Kamala Harris should sue her.
Yeah, honestly, if anyone's going to sue her,
if anyone is suing, it should be Kamala Harris, because when she released that poll, I'm going to say that poll was still correct, but releasing the poll was wrong, because then people said, "Oh, I don't need to turn out."
Exactly, it depressed turnout,
and that's why she's on the list.
Yeah, people thought it was done. Most villainous person, you could argue Joe Biden, because Joe Biden's also facilitating the genocide in Gaza. But
it doesn't happen without Joe.
It doesn't happen without Joe. But I'm wondering, if Joe's even in any of those meetings at this point. I mean, we know this dude's been a doddering fool for the past few years. And so maybe it's all just being orchestrated by Blinken, who, at the end of the day, is sending money to Netanyahu.
Shit, maybe Blinken should be on this list.
Maybe he should. Maybe Matthew Miller should be on the list.
Oh, my goodness. Get them all up there.
Guy that pisses me off the most category. Matthew Miller, fucking Jack Kirby, or whatever his name is. Oh, my God.
That's who I was trying to think of.
Yeah.
Yeah, any of the people who do the DOD press conferences, they deserve to be on this list. That should be a category in and of itself, but I digress.
Yeah.
I think Elon Musk has made a strong case for himself based on the worst Republican votes, but I'm going to have to give it to Bibi Netanyahu in my personal,
that's fair enough.
Most humble opinion. But what does the community think?
Absolutely. And the winner is Bibi Netanyahu by a wide margin, 71.2% of the vote. Funnily enough, the median voter was in second with 15.1%, but second place doesn't win you anything at the HITO Award Show.
No, it does not.
We only like winners.
No, it does not. But I will say, I do think that if you are going to be runner-up in this category is the one that means the most.
Yeah.
Because Bibi Netanyahu, come on, guys. Like, some people are just so bad and villainous that they just run away.
It wouldn't make sense if Netanyahu lost.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it would be a miscarriage of justice, and you all would have abandoned your civic duty if Netanyahu lost.
Yeah. And now this is, I think, someone can correct me if they're like a HITO archivist. I think this is our first back-to-back winner in an award show.
Oh, my God.
So can Netanyahu get the hat trick next year? That's the question. Can he get the three-piece?
It could happen.
Who knows? But congratulations, Netanyahu. We hate you, and we hope you end up in The Hague someday. You are a terrible person. Anyway, moving on to our next category, the most unhinged national news story. Now, last year's winner was Hunter Biden cocking Congress.
Gas.
And that was a crazy one. Hunter Biden deserved it. And that was also a moment that we had predicted almost precisely what happened. I listened back to our award show last year. I didn't find any exact predictions like that. That one was sort of a moment of clairvoyance for us.
Absolutely. Divination, if you will.
And we'll get to HITO predictions later on, but that was crazy. And we were there for that. But this year, here are our categories for most unhinged national news story. College campus protests supporting Hamas, quote unquote. United Healthcare CEO assassination. Joe Biden dropping out of the race, immigrants, quote, eating dogs in Springfield, Ohio, and the Trump assassination attempts. Now, right off the bat, I got to say, when we were constructing the nomination form, I forgot about the assassination attempts again. And for that reason, I feel like it does not deserve the coveted prize of most unhinged national news story. I forgot that it happened because it didn't matter.
See, I was going to argue the exact opposite.
Okay.
I was going to argue that because everybody forgot about not only the first attempt, but nobody really cared about the second attempt, that makes it the most unhinged thing that happened this year.
That is funny, yeah.
Because, I mean, like, he got shot the first time. What, a month later? 2 months later, somebody's sitting there in a bush in his fucking golf course like it's Fortnite OG Season 1.
With an AK-47.
With an AK-47?
Yeah.
The Secret Service gets him? Like, that's 2 attempts, and that one didn't even get a week of news cycle.
And they were both Republicans.
Oh, my God. Like, that's...
They were both white dude Republicans.
And then everybody forgot.
Yeah.
That's unhinged.
And everybody especially forgot because they were white dudes.
Yeah.
If they were from any marginalized group whatsoever, then it would have been up. We would have been hearing about that nonstop.
You know, if there's just like a shouts out category this year, all of the high profile, I feel like almost all of like the high profile, like bad stuff like that happened, stuff that I condemn that happened, white people did it. White guys did it.
Yeah. That is pretty
That's
crazy.
something of note.
But we got to take a look at the other ones here.
Yes, we do.
Now, the immigrants eating dogs in Springfield, Ohio, that was a crazy moment. And it was a series of moments because, of course, it was a news cycle kicked off, I think, by J.D. Vance, openly saying, like, yeah, if I have to lie, I will. And then, of course, Trump reaffirmed the story on the debate stage with Kamala Harris where he said, I saw it on TV. Now, that's unhinged.
That was good.
Especially because
so good.
It was just not based in truth whatsoever. And that was an unhinged moment. Joe Biden dropping out of the race, I'm not sure it's unhinged, but it was happy. So I don't think it deserves to win.
It was a crazy thing that could happen, but it was still very much on the hinges.
Yeah. The healthcare CEO assassination, unhinged feels like an inaccurate description of it.
I wholeheartedly agree.
But it was a wild moment this year. And it was even wilder to see everyone be like, well, yeah, I know why he did that.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
What was like the most unhinged about it wasn't even the thing that happened. It was the reaction and like everything that's happened afterwards.
I think people have had some unhinged takes on what happened.
Absolutely.
Like either decrying him as like a terrorist, which I think the terrorism charges are insane, by the way, or people saying that he's like a leftist Marxist revolutionary. I don't think either of those positions are right whatsoever. He's probably like a Nikki Haley voter. Also, white guy. Which is
Italian.
Yeah. Very funny. But I feel unhinged doesn't really describe what happened there.
I agree.
And then lastly, the college campus protest being labeled as in support of Hamas. That was pretty unhinged. Sending cops in on like horseback to beat the shit out of kids.
That's unhinged in like the like a very classic sense.
Authoritarian kind of way.
Exactly. It's unhinged in that it highlights the absurdity with which we deal with these things. The absurdity which the state will bring down violence upon college kids that disagree with them.
Now, if we're to break down what unhinged means axiomatically, bit by bit, I would have to agree there. So it really just leaves the bottom two. Immigrants eating the dogs in Springfield, Ohio, quote unquote, or the Trump assassination attempts.
See, I'm going to make a kind of a split prediction here.
Okay.
I think that the community gives it to the CEO, but in my heart, I got to give it to the Trump attempts. What would you say?
Okay. See, my gut feeling still, I completely forgot about the Trump assassination attempts.
That's why it's so funny.
I have not thought about them whatsoever. And I was looking, and I can tell a lot of you didn't think about it either because it wasn't nominated that many times.
I think about the first one every so often, but the second one, man, that just I didn't even think about it when it happened. Did we even talk about it?
Yeah, we talked about it on the show as soon because it happened on a Sunday, so it was like breaking news on the show.
Right.
And then nothing really happened, nothing came from it. Bro was just arrested. So I don't know, I feel like everyone just kind of moved on, and it is really funny. But Springfield, Ohio. I mean, come on, that was crazy.
God, yeah, Springfield, Ohio is unhinged and it's very clearly unhinged. It's very directly unhinged, and it's funny.
It was like a mass hysteria moment. Really.
Yeah, it was, man. Whew, okay.
But let's see what the community thinks.
Yeah, drummer boy, come on. What are we paying you for?
The winner is immigrants eating dogs and cats in Springfield, Ohio.
I can't argue. It's not what my heart wanted.
Yeah.
But I can't argue with it.
Yeah, no, it's totally fair. The runner-up here was actually the assassination of the healthcare CEO.
I figured.
So that's interesting. I guess people really are enamored by the story.
It really captured the hearts and minds of folks across America.
I think it'd be safe to say that a lot of people are just projecting their own biases onto this guy.
Yeah.
And it's kind of just like,
What really got me about that one is when I was like sitting at work like a day or two after it happened, and I heard people that I like never talked to be like, "Yeah, I get it."
Yeah,
and I was like, that's where we are with this one now.
Yeah. That was crazy. Like you just hear like a suburban dad be like, "Well, yeah, obviously."
Exactly. I was like, "Oh, okay, well, that's okay, well."
And then seeing the liberals backtrack and be like, "Well, you actually, when polled, most people like their health insurance plan." And it's like, all right, there's something more going on here. Yeah. And my favorite bit was when I think they polled like support for Luigi Mangione.
That's crazy.
And support was super low. It was like minus 22 or something like that. But it's also like if you called someone and polled them on someone who just did a high profile assassination, they're not going to tell you the truth.
No.
Like, if I was in support of him, I would not be like, hell yeah, I support murder. I would not tell that to a pollster. Are you kidding?
I would not make that public. No. That's insane.
Anyways, next one.
Next one. We got the getting back to our roots. Number one geopolitical podcast. We have to examine what were the most unhinged geopolitical news stories.
Yeah.
Last year's winner, Israel and Gaza. I think it's no notes. Clear as day why that one won. Completely fair. This year, we have South Korean president does martial law for a day. Gas. Assad ousted from Syria. Also gas. Israel invading Lebanon. Boo. American senators threatened to invade The Hague in response to the ICC issuing arrest warrants for Bibi and was it Yoav Gallant too and like a bunch of other people. Yeah. That was also a crazy
and
thing
also issuing arrest warrants for Hamas, which obviously can't be made good on now because those Hamas guys are dead.
Yes. So I mean, kind of.
Fair is fair.
I guess we got them.
Yeah.
I guess they got it. So that
divine justice or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. And then the last nomination was Argentina's continued plummet. They just recently hit a 50% poverty rate.
Yeah, like the last quarter of 2024. That's insane.
You see these stories really coming in at the 11th hour now.
Yeah.
Assad getting ousted from Syria. That was crazy.
That's funny as hell.
It's hilarious.
Because I can't say Assad margins anymore. Because he's gone.
They took that away from me.
And it's even funnier that it was in a year where incumbents were getting clapped in like liberal elections, in the liberal democracies of the world.
People cannot stand incumbency right now. That was the funniest tweet I think I've seen this year.
The anti-incumbent wave hit Syria. Assad could not overcome the wave of anti-incumbency. How could we expect Kamala Harris ever to win if Assad can't win?
100%. Yeah. No, guys, it wasn't her fault. It wasn't Joe Biden's fault. Not even Joe Biden could have won, despite him thinking so.
Assad won previous elections like with 89% of the vote.
Assad march?
With Assad, he's the guy, and he couldn't do it. And that's funny.
It's hilarious. That's a funny one. But God, when I think unhinged, what is more unhinged than the president not liking something that happens, says, I'm going to do martial law. And then senators, fucking fighting soldiers in the streets to stop him from coming in they can vote no.
On fascism. Yeah.
And then he backs down, and then the fascist says, oh, shit. Yeah, they got me.
The meme that communists and socialists always make fun of where it's like, I'm going to vote out fascism. Yeah. It worked.
Right here, plain and simple, 2024.
Point for liberal democracy. I do think the South Korea one has to get my vote here. That one is just really funny.
That's unhinged.
And, for people that wanted something to happen, I'm sorry, nothing ever happens.
Exactly.
At least in South Korea for now, but in Syria, lots of things happen.
It's a testament to the power of voting. Voting stops things from happening.
It's true. Voting is important. Elections matter, folks. So let's hear what the community thinks about the most unhinged geopolitical news story this year. South Korean president doing martial law for one day.
It's got to be. Give me the margin on that one.
That's a 57.5% total for South Korea there.
That's good.
The runner-up had 25.9%, which was American senators threatening to invade The Hague.
God, that's good too.
Interesting option. People didn't really care much about Assad, I guess. I personally think that's funny just because...
I think Assad is hilarious.
Yeah.
I think Assad is hilarious mostly because of the anti-incumbency jokes, but man... It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Now, our next one, and this is a new addition to the show, is Most Annoying Discourse of 2024. Last year, we did Most Annoying Culture War Discourse, but this time we've widened our horizons, and we're focusing on discourse entirely, because there was lots of discourse this year.
And I mean, I guess we kind of also learned that the culture war doesn't matter during a presidential year, unless the presidents are explicitly talking about it. It doesn't matter. That's a thing for senators to do and for House members to do.
And for Fox News
when they're waiting for the election nobody else votes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, so we've expanded our horizons here, and we have whittled it down to the 5 worst, or I guess most annoying pieces of discourse, and these are our nominees. First, RFK Jr. is a free thinker.
That's crazy.
Joe Biden should stay in the race. She's vice president right now. Why hasn't she done it already? Campaigning with Liz Cheney is good, actually. And lesser evil voting. Those are our 5 options for most annoying discourse of the year. What do you think?
Man, these are some good options.
Yeah.
These are some great nominations by the community right here. The ones that stick out to me, though, she's vice president now. Why hasn't she done it already?
Yeah.
That one almost had me crashing out on this very show.
We talked about that so many times. Yeah.
Every single fucking interview she did, even if it's fucking David Muir or CNN or anything, it's like, well, you have power right now. No, she fucking didn't. No, she is still. It makes me mad just thinking about it because it was so unserious. But the other one that sticks out to me is lesser evil voting, because that one had me crashing out outside the show as well.
Well, since the beginning of the year, really. I mean, because we post our lesser evil voting take like November of 23 or something like that. And of course, that discourse extended all the way to the election.
Yeah.
And eventually, more people started to come on board with lesser evil voting once Biden wasn't the candidate, which was good. But it still was like a persistent thing.
Yeah.
It's just after a while, I just kind of started tuning it out because I was like, I'm never going to convince these people.
That's true.
And for the people I will convince, they'll stick around and hear more of the things that we have to say. So lesser evil voting, it's always going to be a discourse topic during elections. Made especially hard because Joe Biden did facilitate a genocide, which very, very bad, of course. But as for the other ones, Joe Biden should stay in the race. I wouldn't say that was really annoying discourse because the people saying that were so obviously outnumbered that it didn't really get any traction in any meaningful way.
I don't know how to say it because, it wasn't annoying. I don't want to say it was, frustrating either. It was just kind of pathetic.
I was having fun.
I was having fun making fun of these people. I can't lie.
Yeah, it was a good time for me. But RFK Jr. is a free thinker. I've already talked about how I hate RFK Jr., so that's definitely a good contender. And then campaigning with Liz Cheney is good.
It is good.
Actually. This is the one that we got from the Democratic Strategists, the group that won Worst Democrat this year in the HITO Award Show. And that also was a very, very annoying piece of discourse to have to deal with. Because it's based on so many false premises that you have to disentangle. And I feel like it's emblematic of the Democrats' broader strategy of, as Chuck Schumer said, abandoning workers in rural Pennsylvania and picking up suburbanites, or whatever his fucking quote is.
I love that.
So not great.
Not great at all.
Yeah.
Not great at all. But, personally, I've got to say it's vice president. I've got to say it's vice president, and I hope that the community agrees.
Winner is... She's vice president now. Why hasn't she done it already?
Thank God.
That is the winner.
I'm glad you guys saw what I saw.
And didn't win a majority of the votes, but it was 45.3%. And the runner-up was campaigning with Liz Cheney is good, actually, at 22.6%. So about a 20-point margin right there.
That's good. That makes sense.
Madam Vice President.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the vice president discourse, that was pervasive.
Yeah.
That was discourse that I would hear from people who do not do politics, but know that I do politics and want to talk about something with me. You know what I mean? That's one where it's like, oh, but why doesn't she do anything?
And
why doesn't she do this?
All the people that kept saying Kamala Harris is the vice president, why hasn't she done it already, really just showcased they have no civic understanding. Have no civic education or understanding of how the government works. No
political
whatsoever.
literacy.
It's either that or they just know that they're lying or creating a sort of a fallacious hypothetical. Because, again, the vice president doesn't do anything.
Well, I'm going to do the same thing in 4 years when J.D. Vance runs.
Oh, of course.
I'm telling you right now, when J.D. Vance runs and we have a bigger platform, hopefully, and I have more of a voice that I can use to affect people, I am going to be doing the facetious thing.
Well, yeah, and you can come back here and watch this video and say, oh, look, you're being hypocritical. And I'm going to say, yeah, but fair is fair.
Exactly.
What goes around comes around, buddy.
It's karma. I'm an agent
this is where
of
we
karma.
are now. And if we're talking vice presidents, Kamala Harris did a bunch of tie-breaking votes, which is her only fucking job anyway. So what are we talking about?
You're a body and you break ties, and that's it.
Yeah, you're a beating heart in case the president dies, which with Joe Biden, very important job.
It was, she has had the most important role of a vice president in a while.
Yeah.
And never before in American history have we had somebody as old in the president and as just a non-cogent. She could have been called to do it. She was on call for 4 years.
Yeah, and he was a walking husk moving around the White House, just kind of wandering room to room. She could have been president at any moment.
Oh, my goodness.
But, of course, the anti-incumbency wave, it just couldn't be overcome. But the next category, a new category. An important category.
This is a good category.
You got this one?
I do got this one. This is a good one. And, we talked about in the beginning, we're humble podcasters.
And we are.
And this is the category that lets you know exactly how humble we are. We wanted to put some things in here.
We can take the hits.
It was a presidential year. During a presidential year, you're making a lot of predictions.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot going on. It is the politic year.
So many variables.
And we made a lot of predictions. So this category, Worst HITO Prediction of 2024. The nominees are Trump will choose Kari Lake as VP. I still stand by it.
Yeah.
I still stand by it. Biden probably won't drop out. Trump will steal the election. He didn't even have to. He just won the election. Blue Michigan in 2024. That was a pretty bad prediction. And then the final nomination. There were no bad predictions, just predictions made in the context of an unhinged political environment where precisely estimating any outcome is nearly impossible. We can't blame you. We would never blame you. You did the best you could with the information available. Peace and love, Kings.
I like that last one.
I think that's my favorite one.
Yeah, that might be my favorite one. And look, like you said, Kari Lake. I mean, she should have been the VP.
Absolutely.
I know Trump won anyway, and we had a bunch of discourse about the VP choice. Like, doesn't actually matter. Doesn't ever really make a difference. It seemed like it didn't, even though JD Vance fucking sucks.
Yeah.
But in my heart, it should have been Kari Lake.
In my heart of hearts, I know.
Yeah. And she should never have ran for Arizona Senate, basically giving the seat over to Ruben Gallego.
Yeah. And it's like, man.
It's tough.
It is tough.
It's real tough.
I honestly, I wish Trump would have lost, not even because I'm anti his policies. I wish Trump would have lost so I could have pointed to that as being a good prediction. As I could have pointed that to say he should have picked Kari Lake. If you picked Kari Lake, you would have won.
Oh, but she would have been so much more entertaining than JD Vance. JD Vance just fucking sucks.
And it's like they both would have done the same, kind of shit.
Yeah.
They both would have said the same kind of evil statements. It would have been in different fonts and whatnot because they're different people. But, she would have said it funnier.
She's far more entertaining. And she knows how to be. She's a TV person, just like Trump.
I cannot listen to JD Vance talk.
No.
I can't look at him. I can't listen to him. And I hate that guy, man.
Yeah, he's terrible. But I think it's time to see what the community thinks of our predictions.
Come on, drummer boy.
The winner is... Good news, actually. We've been absolved.
Oh, my God, let's go.
We had no bad predictions this year. Because they were all made in the context of an unhinged political environment.
Our analysis was sound.
It was.
Our analysis was absolutely sound. J.N. Moody Seltzer would have said Michigan was going blue, too.
Exactly.
It was entirely unpredictable that Michigan would happen.
44.8% of our voters said that we had no bad predictions because we could not have been expected to make accurate predictions in the environment that we found ourselves in. And I think that's the truth.
The first 5-6 months of the year, anything pre-Biden-Trump debate, you could not have predicted that Biden was dropping out of that race.
That is true. That is true.
It was impossible to do sound analysis and predict that Biden was dropping out of the race. There had to have been a logical leap that you made to come to that conclusion.
Yeah, and looking back on our last few years of coverage of this Biden administration, I do think maybe we should have gone harder on the old shit. It's just hard to in an election where the comparison is Trump, who's also very old and who is worse on every policy issue. Man, maybe we should have gone harder. I mean, we did say every time we covered a press conference or whatever, State of the Union, we would say he sucks, he's too old. But is what it is. I guess.
I wish they could have found whatever concoction of drugs that they had that made him sound fine at the State of the Union. But they just never could make it again.
Maybe it would have killed him.
Maybe that was the cocaine they found in the White House. And they had to get rid of it.
They had to burn the evidence or something. But I'm glad you all have voted to absolve us of responsibility. Because you know what? Fair is fair.
Fair is fair.
And that's the result, and I'm going to take that to heart and use that as evidence that we didn't make any bad predictions.
You guys come to this podcast for analysis, and you've said we deliver.
Oh, we do.
We do.
We literally do. Last category is person most likely to ruin 2025. Now, last year's winner was Donald Trump, and I'll say, clairvoyant prediction on your guys' part.
Absolutely.
He sure did ruin the year. And this year, we got a couple nominees to talk about. So our nominees are Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy, RFK Jr., and some obscure Trump nominee that we don't know about yet. And I think that last one has some power here.
That's a sleeper.
Because there are always people within an administration that get appointed that nobody talks about that end up making a big name for themselves. There's always one or two of those people. Yep. For Biden, it's like Lena Khan, right?
Yeah.
She's made a big name for herself, didn't know who she was before she got appointed.
Yeah.
And for Trump, who knows who it's going to be? We're talking about Pete Hegseth. We're talking about RFK Jr. right now, but it could be some other demon that comes through. And
could have been Matt Gaetz.
Yeah, fucking drops a nuke on Chicago or something. You never know who it's going to be.
Could be Eric Adams. He could be pardoned by Trump and then, I don't know, do something again.
Get a crazy position. Yeah, I don't know. But who do you think is most likely to ruin 2025 from this list here?
Donald Trump is like the easy answer.
That's the easy answer. Yeah.
That's the easy answer. I'm not about easy answer.
Because it's like everything's going to happen in the shadow of this government.
Exactly. Right? When you are the president, who's that fucking guy that was like, oh, he had the thing on his desk like the buck stops here? And everybody always talked about that shit. When you are
Teddy
the president,
Roosevelt, I think.
Maybe.
I don't know.
You are responsible pretty much for everything that happens under your administration, whether that's like fair or unfair.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like I feel like Trump is like a cop out.
Yeah.
I think Elon Musk might be the most likely to ruin 2025.
And I think that's a fair pick. Yeah.
Some way, shape, or form, especially considering the Christmas Civil War.
Yeah.
The war on Christmas literally happened.
Yeah, the literal war on Christmas, the fucking racism civil war they just got into. It's hard to tell because
But it's like anything that Elon Musk could ruin, he ruins for Republicans, not for me. Mm-hmm. He honestly makes it better for me if he ruins things.
Yeah, that's true. If we're talking about ruin from our perspective, well then, I mean, if
RFK Jr.
Yeah. I was gonna say RFK is a strong consideration here because he's going to eliminate vaccines.
Yep.
For all children, the child death rate or child life expectancy is gonna go down, and then he's gonna mandate that we all drink like fucking raw milk or something.
He's gonna unfluoridate the water.
Yeah, everyone's teeth are gonna rot.
Everybody's teeth are gonna rot. Cavities are back in a big way.
There was some headline I saw that was like RFK Jr. is considering banning commercials for like over-the-counter drugs. And I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. But he's just gonna replace it with fucking raw milk commercials or some other treatment that doesn't fucking work. That he's
raw milk in school lunches.
Yeah, he's gonna have some conspiracy theory for it, and that's gonna be the new commercials that we have to see. He's not principled in any way.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's gonna be annoying. That's gonna ruin my 2025.
Yeah, outside of Donald Trump, it is RFK Jr.
Yeah.
It's got to be RFK Jr. He's gonna bring polio back. He's going to at least try to get to remove or I guess it's states that mandate vaccines for schools, isn't it? He's going to try to do some fucky shit with the FDA to make it so that states can't make you get vaccines.
Yeah, it's the states that administer the policy.
And then there's going to be a bunch of kids that don't get vaccines because their parents are crazy. And then the mumps will be back.
Well, yeah.
And the whooping cough.
He won't immediately try to ban all vaccines, right?
Yep.
He'll take it slowly, and he'll start with just not requiring it, and then he'll eliminate some, and he'll try to eliminate more and more as his tenure in the FDA continues on, with the goal being for children to not be vaccinated against everything.
Yeah.
Or anything, I suppose. So that will if we're talking ruin, will legitimately kill people.
Yeah. So I think RFK is a good pick here.
Yeah.
RFK really made a name for himself this year, man.
Yeah. Best character arc. He won that
exactly.
category this year. So let's see what the HITO community thinks. Person most likely to ruin 2025. Drummer boy, let me hear it.
Drummer boy, come on. We're not paying you for nothing.
The winner is Elon Musk. RFK Jr. came in fourth. Elon Musk got 52.6% of the vote. Next was Donald Trump with about a quarter.
Solid majority, Elon Musk, really.
And then an obscure Trump nominee that we don't know yet got 13.1% of the vote. And then RFK in fourth place with 8.5%.
I don't want to say this is as bad as Florida over Texas last year.
It's not.
It's not as bad, but I do think this is a snub.
Well, there's a reason we're the political commentators here. There's a reason we got the microphones, we got the platform.
Exactly, yeah. I gotta say that this is this year's snub. It really is.
Yeah, this is the snub of the year. There's always at least one. And now look, I don't blame you for thinking Elon Musk sucks. He's gonna ruin the year. But if this past week or so, I guess, has been any indication, it seems like Trump and Musk are gonna be at each other's throats pretty soon, and that'll be good for us.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it'll slow down the functioning of the government and maybe withdraw some of a major source of money for Trump to draw.
A bunch of Republicans must have voted.
Yeah.
A bunch of Republicans must have voted this year.
Oh, they flooded the polls.
They're like, I hate H-1B visas.
So that wraps up the official categories for the HITO 2024 HITO Award Show. And that means it's time for our bracket. And we got a good one this year, folks.
We do. It's been a year.
I was struggling to create this bracket, not because we didn't have enough entries, but because there were too many entries.
Too many.
So in 2022, our first award show, we did most putrid news cycle.
Yep.
Last year, we did most insane moments in politics in 2023.
There were a lot of them.
And now this year, because it was the year of discourse, we're doing most unbearable discourse of 2024, election edition. We had to narrow it down to elections specifically because outside of elections, there was just far too much happening to get our 16 candidates in here.
Yeah, man.
For the bracket.
You could fill this with Twitter discourse if you don't focus on elections. There was so much that happened even just like there.
Yeah. We got a loaded left side and a loaded right side. I genuinely don't know who's going to win this.
Was this year the year of disabled people can't work out or something like that on Twitter? Do you remember that discourse?
Oh, yeah. Like it's ableist to say you should exercise.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if we did a Twitter, we could have like a March Madness style Twitter bracket.
Absolutely. We could run it all year.
Fucking teams. Yeah, no, it would be absolutely insane. And that would take a long time, and we don't have that kind of time. So we're sticking with our 16-person bracket or 16 entry bracket, and we're doing most unbearable discourse of 2024. You ready?
I am ready.
Starting with our left side.
Okay.
Which was the more unbearable discourse this year? The discourse surrounding campaigning with Liz Cheney being good, or this idea that RFK Jr. will take on Big Pharma?
RFK Jr. take on Big Pharma, easy.
Easy, slam dunk.
Locking in the answer.
Don't even got to think about it.
I can't stand it. I cannot stand the RFK Jr. is standing against Big Pharma discourse because he's just replacing it with anything. I've ranted about that on this show like a couple times about the whole big wellness debate and how it's got even more money in it than Big Pharma. I can't.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like the fucking Rite Aid drug commercials will just be replaced with raw milk commercials.
Yep.
Somebody else is still going to be profiting off of our need to feel healthy or be healthy, I suppose. It's just going to be a different entity.
Yeah.
It won't be Big Pharma. It'll be fucking Big Wellness.
And they're going to charge you an arm and a leg for it.
It'll be a scam all the same. It'll be a worse scam because it's less intellectual.
It'll be a worse scam because it's going to cost more money and it's going to be less effective.
Yeah.
If effective at all.
So RFK moves on in the bracket, and he takes the first round against Liz Cheney. Next one.
Okay.
But she's already the vice president, or
strong contender.
Kamala Harris isn't black. Which was the worst discourse? More unbearable. We're talking unbearable.
Unbearable?
Yeah.
Unbearable is still vice president, right?
Yeah.
Because Kamala Harris isn't black. Like that was very one-sided. Trump tried to push that for a little bit and it wasn't really biting.
Yeah.
But I like I said, I can't stand she's still vice president right now.
Yeah.
I can't stand it.
That bit of discourse was really bad.
Yeah.
And it endured for a long, ever since she got the nomination, it just kept going. And it was tough to deal with. So I'll have to agree with you there.
Why didn't you stop inflation? You're the vice president.
Yeah. The whole Kamala Harris isn't black thing was, I think it was honestly, it wasn't like unbearable. It was annoying to have to talk about. It was certainly a moment, but I think it was worse for Trump and his side than it was for us. Like the vice president, that she's already a vice president thing, that was the thing we had to deal with. So that was...
I had to spar over that one.
Yeah, now this next one, I think I know what you might choose here, but which was the more unbearable bit of discourse this past year? Democrats offering a tough border bill, or this idea that J.D. Vance isn't weird, Tim Walz is, which is where we got Tampon Tim from. Good bits of discourse, huh?
This is like a 6th and 7th seed right here. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because like JD Vance isn't weird. We're talking the most unbearable story.
Unbearable.
Right? I think I have to give it to the immigration thing because I still can't stand it. But like the fact that they actually tried to make that work. They actually tried to make the no Tim Walz is weird thing. That was unbearable.
Oh yeah,
that was actually crazy. Look at the guy. Look at these two men and stand them next to each other and judge them by the standards that you think men should be judged by. And tell me who's the weird one. Can't do it.
Yeah, that's where we got Tampon Tim. That's where we got the story of him like drinking horse semen or something like that. Then the cups, the JD Vance, because Tim Walz used IVF or IUI or whatever.
The full family planning kit.
Yes, that was bizarre. JD Vance is a fucking freak. But I do think if we're talking unbearable on the whole, it's Democrats in like fucking April or whatever offering a tough border bill. That was real rough.
And then talking about how massive of a win it was when Trump said not to pass it.
Yeah, Republicans tanked the border bill, dog.
Nobody fucking cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Literally nobody cares. Last one for the left side of the bracket.
Okay.
For the last one for this side of the first round. Democrats are too woke, or we need a left Joe Rogan. Which was more unbearable? These are both post-election analyses right here. Yeah.
I think it has to go. Democrats are too woke.
Democrats are too woke. Yeah, they are too woke.
Because that's when we get Tommy Susie or whatever being like, I don't want my daughter getting hit by a 6'5" linebacker with a cock.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. Yeah, I think that's the more unbearable one. The other one,
Left Joe Rogan.
Left Joe Rogan.
Uh-huh.
I would say that's more misguided than unbearable.
Yeah.
I think that's more so like
bad analysis.
You don't know what Joe Rogan is and the role that he fills. It's unbearable in that sense, but I would argue it's more misguided than unbearable. Not more unbearable than Democrats abandoning trans people.
Yeah, and this idea that Democrats are too woke is a sort of recurring theme every 2 years.
Yep.
Anytime like a Democrat loses somewhere where they think that they're supposed to win, it's because the Democrats are too radical.
Yeah.
Even though Democrats, especially this election cycle, ran tough on the border, didn't talk about trans people, and ran a campaign with Liz Cheney.
Yeah.
And then they still lost, and somehow the Democrats are still blamed for being too woke.
Well, Democrats only ever win because of their strong moderate positions.
Oh, of course.
And it's their more radical positions just get swept under the rug in favor of their strong moderation. That's why they only win.
All right, well, Democrats too woke. Moving on in our unbearable bracket, election edition. Moving on to the right side of the bracket here, still the first round. Which was more unbearable? The Trump assassination attempt discourse or the old allegations applying only to Biden but not to Donald Trump? Tough one, huh?
I think so. I think that is a tough one because I got to remember the Trump assassination discourse because I forgot about the assassination.
Well, because nobody cares.
Because nobody cares. But that is where we got people. I thought the picture was cool for like 2 days, and then everybody made it their profile picture, and it's like, this is lame actually now.
Yeah.
And people still try to make that like the picture of the year. Very clearly, it is not the picture of the year. There have been way cooler pictures that happened, especially ones happened like a week ago, but I digress. You know what I'm saying? That is actively unbearable. It really is, but God. The other one.
The old allegations.
That sucks too.
It was, see, here's my thinking. The assassination attempts discourse was unbearable because people kept trying to claim that it was like the left trying to take out Donald Trump, or that the shooters were motivated by Joe Biden's fiery rhetoric.
Oh my God, Lester Holt.
And that was unbearable because, first of all, Joe Biden, if he ever was, is no longer a fiery rhetorician.
Yeah.
You know, like he is not an orator. He is not getting people hyped up like that. And also, of course, both of the would-be assassins were Republicans, not getting hyped up by Democrats whatsoever.
I forgot about the Lester Holt interview where he's like, do you feel responsible for this, Joe Biden?
You said bullseye.
You said bullseye in a campaign email.
And then the other one, see, the old allegations. So the assassination attempt discourse, unbearable.
Yep.
But if we move over to the old allegations for Biden and not for Trump, they kind of feel justified in a way.
I think so too.
They feel a little like, I don't want to go back on anything that I said. I've probably said something in opposition to what I'm about to say, but Joe Biden does come across older as Donald Trump.
I don't think that's antithetical to anything that we've said, though.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of like the analysis we've carried forward. I think we've talked about how, like, yes, they are both too damn old to be running for office.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking age caps 20 years younger than where they are. But also, like, Trump's funny.
Yeah.
Trump's funny and has the appearance of him being able to talk and orate and do rhetoric. Joe Biden doesn't.
And now we know through these like Wall Street Journal articles and stuff that Joe Biden has been basically fucking doing nothing for the last several years. So yeah, with hindsight, I mean, the old allegations, they're not even off base.
Yeah. And it's like, that is unbearable. That is super annoying. But like, I agree.
Yeah.
So yeah, this has got to go to Trump assassination discourse.
It's assassination attempt discourse is moving on. Next one. Trump is anti-establishment. Or Trump's former staffer said blank, and then insert whatever the liberals are talking about, which was more unbearable.
Trump's former staffer said blank.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one sucked because nobody cares.
Yeah.
I've been on this wave. If January 6th discourse is on here too, that may have to just automatically go to the win as well because it's like that it occupies the same lane as that for me as like the J6 trials and all that. It's like, oh, General said this about Trump. It's like, yeah, that's bad. Nobody cares though.
Yeah.
Nobody fucking cares. And then they just whine about nobody caring instead of adjusting course.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, the deputy secretary for the blah-de-blah department said this about Trump. It's like, first of all, I don't know this person. Second of all, I don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Like and then the argument that they made after the election was, oh, well, his own people saying this about him is more credible. No, it's not. It makes him look like an outsider.
Yep. They just view those people saying bad things as the establishment that Trump is fighting against.
Yeah,
like,
there was maybe one of the former staffers said blank that was justified, and it's when I don't know if it was Mark Milley or somebody else said that Trump said he wanted generals like Hitler.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That one was crazy, and I think that one works on voters. The rest of them, you should have just left them at home. They should have gone into the trash bin.
Didn't they bring like a bunch of like Trump staffers to the DNC or some shit like that?
Yeah, I think a few of them spoke. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, letting Trump staffers speak at the DNC and a cop and all these other people and no.
Oh my God, our cop.
Was crazy. Our cop, literally. I know.
The sheriff of that was crazy. So I thought you were gonna go with Trump as anti-establishment because that one's annoying.
That one's incredibly annoying, but like. I think I've just acclimated to it.
Yeah.
I think it's just become this thing that's in the background, and the staffer thing makes me mad in the same way that Democratic strategist being employed makes me mad.
Yeah, he's anti-establishment in the sense that he's like destructive to the norms and institutions.
Yeah.
But he's not anti-establishment in like a meaningful sense where he'll do something for the people that have been left behind by the establishment.
He's anti-establishment in the fact that he wants to do bad things, not good things. So
okay.
yeah.
All right, Trump's former staff said blank moves on to the next round. 2 more left for the first round of this bracket.
Okay.
And this one may be my favorite.
Matchup?
My favorite matchup so far. Which discourse was more unbearable? Joe Biden should stay in the race or voting for Jill Stein? Maybe my favorite matchup of the bracket.
Yeah, this is tough.
Yeah.
This is tough. This one's oh man. I couldn't stand the Jill Stein.
Yeah.
You should vote for Jill Stein, but like
such an unserious campaign.
Such an unserious campaign.
Jill Stein got her name on the ballot in Nevada as a ballot referendum.
Voting yes on Jill Stein.
As a ballot referendum, not as an actual candidate. Like, that's hilarious.
And it's like, it was pervasive throughout the year as well. Like, it just kept going, and it was consistently annoying every single time it happened.
Her running mate, Butch Ward, came out as like anti-trans a few days before the election. Yeah.
Oh, man. But also, but Biden should stay in the race.
That was unbearable. Yeah. It's tough.
It was unbearable, but again, it was pathetic.
Yeah. These are both pathetic. Yeah. These are both like certifiably pathetic.
Like I pity Biden accomplishments guy on Twitter. The guy who tweeted my median vote or my midterm vote mattered.
Yeah, my primary
vote mattered. Man, I kind of feel bad for you.
It was in the bio too. It was like my primary vote mattered. He, him.
Yep.
Not making fun of pronouns in bio, but it's just funny.
Like, that's hilarious.
Yeah. And then he deactivated, or he locked the account. That was hilarious. At least the Biden wins guy had like the authenticity to switch over to Kamala wins.
Yeah, he had the like political like fortitude to say, okay, this is the moment that we're in. It left me behind. I ought to change.
Yeah, and that's respectable. Had the wrong position initially, but you're able to move on with the times. The Joe Biden whatever fucking
Biden accomplishments
guy. Yeah, that's just pathetic, dog. Get off the ground, man. We got work to do. But voting for Jill Stein, I mean, that shit was annoying.
I think I'm giving it to Jill Stein, but because Biden should stay in was so uniquely pathetic. It's like every single one of those people turned into a lol cow.
Yeah.
Every one of those people turned into somebody. It's like, okay, point and laugh at this guy.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Jill Stein, voting for Jill Stein will be moving on to the next round. At least Jill Stein won one thing this year. Last matchup of the first round here, which was the more unbearable discourse: cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, or the idea that Trump's convictions will actually help him politically.
Maybe this is controversial. But it's like, I don't know if I can call the Trump convictions will help him politically unbearable anymore, because like I feel like maybe it was kind of right.
I don't think it was the convictions that I think they didn't do anything.
I think it does the same thing as just like his outsider branding does.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if I had that opinion like when everything was like going on this year. We didn't really cover it intentionally because we were like, this shit doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if I can. It's still unbearable though.
Yeah, it was the talking point was unbearable because it felt like Merrick Garland was saying that to us basically when he refused to do his job. But I don't think the convictions ended up helping him out. I think people just didn't care. Just like the assassination attempts. I don't think it moved the needle whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't think it moved the needle with median people. I think it just like got his base out.
Yeah. Well, it certainly helped with the base. Yeah, 100%.
People are going out there like putting that shit in their bio. Like his convictions or some shit. What are you doing? Who are you?
The mugshot was an iconic moment.
That was an iconic moment.
But I don't think that really did anything for the election. I don't think when anyone turned out to vote, they were like, "Oh, I'm going to vote for the guy they keep going after legally." I just don't think they care.
Anybody that wasn't going to vote for Trump already
right.
wasn't thinking that when they went to the polls.
Yeah. But the discourse was annoying, though.
Discourse was incredibly annoying.
Yeah.
Discourse was annoying.
Which one do you think takes the cake here for Unbearable in this last matchup of the first round?
Refresh me.
Cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, or the Trump convictions will help him.
More Unbearable.
Mm-hmm.
Trump convictions will help him.
Really?
Yeah, because Cats and Dogs is unhinged.
Yeah, it was unhinged. It was unbearable to me to deal with because it wasn't. It was like a moment in the election cycle when I realized that nobody is being honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of already knew this. Republicans lie all the time, of course, but this was just in your face. Literally didn't happen, but I'm going to say that it did because it benefits me.
And then I'm going to tell you that I lied, but it's okay that I lied because I'm going to lie about it happening in another place too.
Yeah. All right, well, that completes the first round of our bracket. Going back to the left side here.
Okay.
We're in round 2.
Yep.
Which was more unbearable this year? RFK Jr. will take on Big Pharma, or she's already the vice president. Why hasn't she done it already?
Talk about a heavy hitter. Talk about a heavyweight matchup. Talk about a finals level matchup in the quarterfinals.
In the quarterfinals.
In the quarterfinals, finals level matchup, man.
It's a seed 1 and 2, maybe. Yeah. Tough choice here. It's really hard. I mean, this idea that RFK Jr. will take on Big Pharma is silly.
Incredibly silly.
But the talking point that she's already VP, I mean, come on.
That had negative consequences. I got to give it to VP.
Got to give it to VP.
I got to give it to VP. She the VP.
Yeah, she's the VP. VPs don't do anything. I think that's a pretty easy selection there. RFK, I'm sorry, but you're down in the second round.
I'm sorry, but you know what? If you were on the other side of the bracket, you probably would have made it all the way.
Now, here's a Democrat on Democrat matchup. So which was the more unbearable discourse? Democrats offering a tough border bill, or this idea that Democrats were too woke in the 2024 election?
Man, that's another heavy hitter. Oh my God.
Stacked playoffs right here, yeah.
Yeah, it is. Fuck, man. You know, a one good team is leaving.
Yeah.
One good team is leaving early.
Yeah, this is like
that's just how it works.
This is a clash you'd want to see in the finals.
Yep.
In the championship match, but it's not how the bracket worked out.
Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness.
It's tough. I would personally have to lean towards the immigration narrative because that was shit that we had to deal with that ultimately flopped politically, and that was really annoying. You
know what? Because that's where I'm trying to think of like moments that happen out of these things, and I was failing to consider. It just finally popped back into my mind. Biden State of the Union, Lake and Riley, just Democrats just fully buying into every single like right-wing scare campaign about immigration came from this. And Democrats are too woke. I'm really just going back to the they're just turning their backs on trans people, which is incredibly unbearable.
And these two are very similar. Like they're both conservative coded, you know what I mean? This idea that Democrats are too progressive and need to be more conservative, and this idea that Democrats need to generally be more anti-immigrant. They're kind of getting at the same thing. But the immigration narrative is so visceral and so empirically and morally wrong that I mean, one of the reasons Democrats probably lost because there's no contrast in an issue that was like number 2 or number 3.
And it was a party-wide thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a couple guys in like a couple districts in
They got Tim
Democratic
Walz
machines.
doing it, bro. They got Tim Walz doing it.
It's got to be the border.
Got to be the border.
It's got to be the border. See, at first, my inclination was Democrats are too woke.
Yeah.
But God, man, this whole year in perspective, it's got to be the border.
It's got to be the border. The border is moving on to the semifinals. And I meant to say at the beginning here, but a blank bracket will be available on the Patreon and on the social media if you want to be playing along.
And you got to let us know what's going on, what you think.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be good to know what you think gets to the finals here. But we're on to the right side of the bracket again. Last 2 matchups here. Now, which was more unbearable? The Trump assassination attempt discourse or Trump's former staffer said blank? Tough one, huh? Real tough one. Really put yourself in a corner on this one. Who are you going to predict? Who gets it? I don't know, honestly. This is a hard one. I think assassination attempts maybe gets pushed over the edge, but that's just me.
You think so? You think so? I think that's the way I'm leaning as well.
Because, like, I mean, the former staffer said blank. That shit was just...
That shit was just a funny moment every time it happened.
Just bad messaging. You know what I mean? Like, when we watched that Kamala Harris town hall on Discord, it was like, man, who cares? You know?
Who cares? This sucks. You guys suck. But the Trump assassination discourse, like that one like got me too.
Yeah.
That one had me feeling a multitude of different feelings. And I was fearful at first because I was like, oh my God, like he's clearly going to run away with the election. Then his poll didn't increase at all after it, which is another crazy thing. And then people dragged like that picture having any meaning. that was unbearable.
And look, I remember in that moment how HITO heads reacted.
Yeah.
You guys were terrified.
Yeah.
I remember people in our Discord were actively like, oh my God, he's going to win for sure now, which, he
and
did.
I mean, yeah, but not because of that.
Eventually. But yeah, exactly. Not because of that. So that was a real unbearable moment of needing to lock in. So I think it deserves to go on to the semifinals here.
I think so too, man. And it was unbearable seeing Jack Posobiec have it as his profile picture forever. It was unbearable and also, kind of pathetic in a Biden accomplishments guy way when everyone was like, everybody forgot about the assassination attempt. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody
deservedly
cared.
so.
Yeah.
That's democracy, baby. Last matchup for the quarterfinals here. Which was more unbearable? Voting for Jill Stein Discourse or Trump convictions will help him Discourse?
It's voting for Jill Stein.
Damn, immediately.
It's voting for Jill
Stein winning more here than she's ever won in her life. My God, man. You got to feel good for her now then. You know that she's
She finally won something in a presidential year.
Yeah. All right. On to our semifinals then. Back to the left side of the bracket,
hard.
Which was more unbearable in the year of 2024. She's already vice president Discourse or Democrats offering a tough border bill.
I was whining and bitching and moaning all year about the border bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
because it was bad. It was bad. It was conservative. It didn't really make any sense in the context of an election. Arguably was contributed to the election loss.
The vice president thing made me so mad because it's like, you should know better.
Mm-hmm.
You people should know better.
You went to high school.
Especially, you went to high school. You should have taken a civics class. You should even just have the common sense to realize what a vice president does and why you never fucking hear about him.
It's a heartbeat and it's a tiebreaker. That's all the VP does.
Exactly. And exactly. So it's like everybody should have known better, and that's why it was so upsetting. But the border stuff was also incredibly upsetting because they Democrats so smugly think they won.
Mm-hmm.
They think they won by doing that.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Well, they lost electorally.
They lost big
on a national level.
They thought that was going to be some massive West Wing fucking strategy move to be able to win the American voters' mind and point out hypocrisy. Nobody cares about hypocrisy.
Nobody cares about hypocrisy.
Nobody cares about hypocrisy when you have to explain it to
them.
them.
My God, dog. It would have been so much more powerful if Democrats had taken just the complete opposite position of conservatives, argued that immigrants are a boon for this country, that they make this country better, that we need to increase immigration, that they're not the ones causing crimes, that they're not the ones trafficking drugs. That could have been the wedge issue of the election. But it didn't happen.
More importantly, it is easier to explain those positions. It is easier to just have a quick, snappy response when you're questioned about that than it is to message about how, well, actually, you see, the Republicans in the negotiation process, they had wanted us to do these couple things, and then eventually we were averse to them.
Nobody cares about congressional politics.
Exactly. But then we realized that if we adopted these positions and Trump told them no, we could get them on hypocrisy. Nobody cares about hypocrisy unless they can see it plainly. Unless it 100%. Is so clearly explicit. If you have to explain hypocrisy, it doesn't matter. It's out the window.
Yeah,
it's out the window. It's not going to appeal to people. And on those grounds, I think it wins.
And if people do care about the hypocrisy, they probably care about immigration in a bad way.
Yep.
And then they're just going to vote for Trump because he's tougher on the border.
Absolutely.
It's a completely losing message. You got them rhetorically for, I don't know, whatever that's worth. You got to prove that they were hypocrites, not actually interested in border policy or a conservative deal. But it didn't matter beyond that. And on top of that, empirically, it doesn't make any sense because, again, immigrants aren't the ones committing the crime.
Somebody needs to make a politics show, a Aaron Sorkin-esque show where they do all these crazy things and then the median voter just says no. and then none of them manifests in any meaningful payoff.
It would be more realistic. Okay. So the tough border bill's moving on then?
It has to. The vice president one makes me so viscerally angry, but the border one was just such a evil going on throughout the year.
All right. On to our other side, last semifinal here. Which was more unbearable, the Trump assassination attempt discourse or the discourse around voting for Jill Stein?
It's Jill Stein again.
For real?
I think so.
Wow.
Because that just sucked.
That is a surprise run deep into I thought she might get knocked out second round or so.
That's a deep run. So bad.
Yeah.
That shit sucked so bad, man. Oh my God. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jill Stein, voting for Jill Stein makes a deep run. Me personally, I think talking about the Trump assassination attempt was a bit more unbearable just because people had the right-wingers' perception of what happened there, politically, for the electorate was just so wrong. Nobody cared. Nobody talked about it after it happened except for people on Fox News. And if you're watching Fox News, you're already voting for Trump. Doesn't matter.
Exactly.
But I am surprised to see Jill Stein make it all the way to the finals here.
But it's
being most unbearable.
Jill Stein was the most annoying people online came out to talk about that.
Yeah.
The most annoying people that aren't Republicans came out to be like, no, you need to vote for Jill Stein. You're voting for genocide.
And she didn't even break. I don't even know if she broke 1%.
0.6%.
Oh my God. Oh, didn't even break 1%. If we hit 5%, we'll get federal matching funds.
Honestly, even if all the people that I don't even think all the people that talked about voting for Jill Stein got out and voted for Jill Stein.
Didn't even talk about how she's basically a Russian plant.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
There's
man.
so many layers to the discourse, truly.
Well, you knew that we would get here.
Yeah.
We're in the finals of our bracket here, folks. We're talking most unbearable discourse of 2024. So who's it going to be? Which was the most unbearable discourse out of Democrats offering a tough border bill and voting for Jill Stein?
I got to set my personal biases aside.
Okay.
I don't think I can give it to Jill Stein.
Yeah. Yeah. Jill Stein, just like the presidency, she can't win.
She's always just coming 40% away from winning. 40 or 52% away from being able to win.
But if everyone voted for Jill Stein.
Guys, you don't get it. Like, everybody could literally write down Jill Stein.
We could do something that we've never done before.
It is a physical possibility that they write down Jill Stein, so I'm going to dedicate all of my political effort to doing this thing that's ineffective.
Yeah, Jill Stein doesn't get hated enough.
She doesn't. And,
does
you know,
not
for
get
those,
enough.
that's why she's in the finals.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
why
fair
she
enough,
made
fair
it to the finals, because this show is about taking these stories that aren't getting covered, taking this discourse that's not being highlighted and highlighting it in a parody of content creation.
Hey, what can we say? We're a commentary on the field itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
But
the border stuff.
big but, yeah.
I could not stand Democrats thinking they did something.
Yeah. Man, the one time they expended like legislative effort, and it was for such a fucking flop. And it was partially designed to be a flop because I think they knew that Trump would block it. They thought it was this excellent chess move where either they get a dub legislatively and get a tough border bill, or they can dunk on Trump. And they got their dunk on Trump moment, and look where it landed us.
And it's like, even if they do get the bill in, nobody's going to believe that they're the better party on immigration either way. Nobody is going to take that and say, oh, yeah, Democrats have a very reasonable stance on this.
You can't hate immigrants more than Donald Trump.
Exactly.
You can't do it.
Exactly. Trump's just going to say he's going to want to go farther even if that does pass. But also, even if it does pass and it's something that the electorate would fuck with, evil,
Yeah.
they're not going to see those changes in any statistics for years to come.
Oh, yeah, it takes a while. Yeah.
You can't just say we passed a bill and expect people to like see how that's going to reflect on the issue.
Especially because you tried to do it in an election year.
Yeah.
So it just seems like you got caught doing something wrong.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you do this from the beginning? I mean, like, we know as people who have like directly followed his immigration policy so far that he was basically just doing Trump shit anyway.
Yep.
And that more immigrants were flooding to the border because some of the COVID restrictions were set aside. And, you know, the end of the pandemic meant more people could move, obviously less of a worry for public health there. But like, he was never like good on immigration policy. Yeah. He was never doing things that we wanted him to do, i.e. not brutalizing people and separating families. But then just capping it all off with an election year bill that was so conservative that you got some of the most Republican senators to vote for it. It was just a bad messaging play. And that, my friends, is unbearable.
That is unbearable.
That's unbearable.
Truly unbearable.
Yeah. If there's one thing that we can point to, one of the, if we had to rank, you know, reasons for Kamala Harris's loss in this election cycle, this immigration ploy and narrative falls somewhere in the top 5 for sure.
It doesn't get worse than this.
It doesn't.
It does not get worse than this. It's really hard to be more unbearable than this.
And for that reason, Democrats being conservative on immigration is our most unbearable bit of discourse for 2024. We have a winner, folks. Clap it up.
Come on,
Clap
come
it
on,
up.
folks.
I mean,
come on,
we have a winner.
Please.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our live studio audience
for
for showing up for the HITO Award Show 2024. And man,
we couldn't do without you.
It's truly been a year.
It's been quite a year. We appreciate you all for coming out. Maybe next year we should have a most likely to crash out category.
Yeah.
That could be a little prediction that you all make, not us, so we can't be held responsible for it. What a year it's been.
What a year it's been, folks.
Man, what is there to say? 2024 really sucked.
Yeah.
Terrible.
I'm trying to think of good things that happened.
I mean, the Senate races went pretty poorly overall. Yeah, no real redeeming qualities, I don't think.
Hey, there had to have been a bill that got passed or something, yeah.
I mean, NLRB was doing cool stuff.
That's true. Lena Khan.
Lena Khan is pretty good, but like
she's out of a job
all
now.
The work's about to be erased.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
She's out of a job, and actually they're going to make it so you need to go through at least 10 different web pages to cancel a subscription.
Yeah, yeah, that'll be really good. Easy cancellations were fun while they lasted.
Yeah.
I don't know. You got any New Year's resolutions to cap off this HITO year?
Be podcast better.
Oh my God, I think that was yours last year too. Last 2 years, he's a consistent guy.
Made good on it too. Come on now.
I think last year we said that we wanted, one of our resolutions last year was get 1 million on TikTok. We did that like multiple times this year.
Dude, I looked at our analytics, I think like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and like looked it back for the past year. We did like 25 million views on TikTok.
Oh my God.
Hey, we had like multiple like million view videos. We had the 4.7 million view video.
Yeah.
The Elon Musk video got like 3 million views.
Yeah, that was, people hate him. Maybe we need to make more Elon content.
People do hate him.
You gotta milk that maybe.
It's hard to come up with like a goal for next year though, considering my goal, petition the Supreme Court to not ban TikTok.
Yeah, successfully petition. I mean, Trump might make something happen there, and I'll give him his flowers when he does. You know, I'm not going to be a liberal in that sense, but I hope TikTok doesn't go away. We're about to hit 10,000 on Instagram, but Instagram Reels sucks.
That's so funny. Biden banned TikTok this year. I forgot that was this year too.
Man, yeah, we could have done like a worse Democrat legislation bracket.
It's like, why? Why did he feel the need?
You do the theory, I'll do the praxis type shit. I'm telling you, man, there's no reason. Let's see. Resolutions for me: get back in the fucking gym.
Real as hell.
One of my resolutions last year was bench 315. I broke my arm. Did not get to 315. And to be fair, I don't know if I would have gotten there by the end of this year. But I was getting stronger, and I've lost basically all of that progress because my arm's been broken. So get back to it is one of my goals. Get fully healed up and then get back to it. And be worse.
I need to get more organized, just like in general. At work, I'm so unorganized.
Damn, you need to get a Google Calendar or a sticky note system or something.
I need to come up with just like systems to just do things, because
maybe like a planner.
I'm responsible for like whole like functions of what we do at my job, and I'm the only one responsible for them. So I've just been kind of like, this whole year I've been going through and just like flying by the seat of my pants.
Whimsy.
And I realized like at the end of this year, we're hiring some new people that are going to be also like involved in doing these functions.
You're about to be a supervisor.
I kind of like, I'm going to have to train them up. And I realized this only will ever make sense to me unless I make a change.
But that's kind of fun though. You've made yourself an irreplaceable part of the system.
Exactly. Yo, you can't get, if you get rid of me, you're fucked. You're like 6 months behind. That's job security, but I should probably get more organized.
Okay. I don't know. Goals for the pod, I guess, continue the People of Interest series.
Yeah, hopefully get some more cool guests on.
Get to our goal on Patreon. I mean, that's been up since October. We've made some progress, but we're not quite there yet.
Whatever new social media comes out to try and replace TikTok, if it's popping, maybe get on there.
Early adopter, and then somebody comes and buys HITO Media.
Oh,
and then I'm freed from proletarianization.
Wouldn't that be great?
That's my dream, is to not be like you guys.
Yeah, and then I can leave, and then nobody can know what work I left behind.
I don't want to be a member. Look, I talk all this shit about capitalism. I don't want to be a member of the working class.
I don't.
It sucks.
Yeah, I hate going to work's not fun.
Going to work is not fun. I feel so much more creative in the times where I don't got to go to work.
Especially being like early 20s, entering mid 20s and shit like that. It's like, all my friends are different too. Everybody got different schedules. We got a friend, Amir. This guy works from like noon to 8.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I go to bed at 10. We can never hop on a game.
Exactly. It sucks, man. It's fucked up.
It's ridiculous. And that's what they're doing to us.
But if I was free from work,
if I was a podcast,
if I had to podcast, focus on podcast 5 hours a week, my life would be totally different.
Oh, if whoever bought us gave me enough money to just retire.
And look, there's so much discourse about like we need men at the front of discourse so we can attract more young men. I mean, I think the premises are a little faulty.
Yep.
I don't know if I totally agree, but you could pay me to do it.
What better to attract young men than dressing like a club owner that's going to give you herpes in a bathroom?
I mean, come on.
Come on, guys. Like this is the direction we're going in 2025.
If you paid me to just podcast and work out all the time, I would do it.
That's the life right there. That's the good life.
You got to pay me for it and make it so I don't have to do an hourly job because I'm tired.
I'm tired of entering in my time. I'm tired of going in and being like, when did I get here? When did I leave?
So let us know your New Year's resolutions in the comments.
Yep.
Let us know if you agree with our bracket. Let us know if you agree with the winners of these categories. And make sure you stick around for a HITO New Year 2025. This is the year of being friends with your neighbors, not snitching on them.
Yep. We got big things planned for 2025. And by big things planned, I mean, there's just going to be like a lot of news.
Yeah. Update your passports.
Yeah.
Just in case, you never know.
And I guess liberals are going to fuck with us again. So that'll be cool.
Oh, well, and that's why I'm hoping we get a flood of investors. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should go public, like open some stock options for HITO Media LLC.
Well, then we could do a buyback.
Yeah.
We're doing a Patreon buyback right now.
we could do like Vivek did and just do a pump and dump. And that's because that's how he got all of his riches.
Really?
Oh yeah. He a couple of I don't know how many years ago, he bought this this treatment that was still being tested for Alzheimer's.
Okay.
He bought it, he put his mom on the board of the clinical trials, and then he hyped it up as like the big next thing in American medicine. Got a bunch of investors on board, then sold all of his stock and it crashed and it never became anything. That's how he got rich.
Dude, that's so sick.
That's awesome, isn't it?
That's like what half of these guys who like get rich and then write a bunch of books do. Is they just write books giving like tips on how to run a business that they never used because they just scam their way into.
He contributed nothing, he did nothing, and now he gets to be fucking a part of the government, kind of.
And now he gets to write a book called Woke Inc. Oh my God, man, he sucks, man. That's a sleeper pick for worst. Vivek didn't walk away with any, awards from this year's award show, but boy, could he have.
He really could have, and I'm glad you found him last year. That was a great
biggest contribution to culture.
Before anybody was talking about him, we were talking about Vivek Ramaswamy, and now he's going to have a position of power, sort of a little bit outside of the government.
Yeah.
And he's going to be cooking, and he just came out as an Indian supremacist on Twitter. That was great. Not like genuinely, but he called American culture trash, basically.
That is so crazy.
Which was hilarious. Yeah, he came out. And then the funniest part about this whole thing was not him just calling like all of Americana bad, basically, because that's what he did. Vivek also came out and said that like we need to enter a new golden age of the American economy.
Oh.
And it's funny because like the American economic golden age was when FDR was investing unprecedented amounts into the American economy.
Exactly.
And also we had a wartime economy, which was propped up by government spending. That's when we got our golden age.
Bring back the Gilded Age. I think that was good for everybody.
Yeah, good for everybody. Didn't lead to anything bad at the end.
No.
The Gilded Age itself was pretty sick.
Yeah.
You see all the movies? The Great Gatsby.
Gatsby. I saw like
The Great Gatsby.
Architectural Digest video about a Gilded Age mansion. And I was like, that's what I aspire to be.
Yeah. And I want it to be all the same. Like it's gold on the outside and just corrupt and falling apart on the inside.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Yeah.
And maybe we can get there again one day. But for now, we got to close out 2024.
We got to give a special thanks to our VIPs, the ones sitting in here in the live studio audience with us.
They're beautiful. I love them.
Beautiful. I can see them all right now. Clap for me.
Oh, my God. Clap it up.
Oh, thank you. And you know what? I'm clapping for you, too.
One for yourselves, too. I mean, one for yourselves.
We could not do this without you. We got to give a special thanks while we close out the 2024 HITO Award Show to our beautiful patrons, starting with Caden Kraut,
oh my God,
Lord Tao the Radiant, Chris the Postman, Christy Beck, Dylan B, Andrew Harris, Mike Chaplinsky, Omar Zuno, Clayton LaFed, Mark Eager, Caleb Joy, Rich Torio Tari, Gavin Mayer Maldonado, Hunter W, Fergalaki, Max Vazquez, Jacob Rogers, Colton Mooberry, Fixer Punk, Jim Egbers, Jeff Muzzy, Big Burrito, Cincy Alex, Joe Stenstrom, Adrian Sandoval, Chloe Sam 601, Colleen Cutsbury Yook, Jennifer DeVoe, Big Bird Titty, Craw Fishin, Benneth Bennington III, Alexia Benanti, Nietzsche, Big Booty Beatdown, Sam Maloney, Two-Headed Boy, Ben Shapiro's boyfriend, Ted Cruz's boy toy, Dictator Jace, Luke O'Shea, Cucker Tarleson, Danielle Jackson, The Word of Microsoft, Jennifer Science, Internet has Gundams,
Gundams, oh my
Darth
God.
Father, Tailored for Contact, Corey Chambers, Ellie N, Devin Hatchet, Retro Mondo, Emma the Dew Slayer, Veronica, aka V, Raxon, Ash Smith, The Grotler, Flower Clown, Beetlebugs, Murder in a Trench Coat, Lonnie Rogers, Slavic and Sapphic, Casey Lynn Kelly, Snake Eyes, and Hope of Giants, AK Gone, Zach Lantian, Ifo Russell, Austin Greif, Marcus Corbett, Caleb Roper, Taylor Rentox, Cammy, Tylen Freeman, Steak Daddy,
Tay, Isaac Hodges, Madeline C, Kayla Lowe, Anna Volinick, Casey C, Say Yes to West, August, Particular Pigment, Sir Capelot, Jeff Sines, Howard the Duck, Brendan is Egg, JR, Drew Batchilder, Froggy Gumdrop, Jackie Boy, Shameless, Coherent Babbles, Sasha, MJ Sharp, Michaela Muncie, The Walls 3000, Jared Finch, Tactical Snowflake, Son of Ander, Vanilla Bryce, Chris T, Kishan Lala, Amanda R, Hanky Panky, Tyler J, Damian Blues, Ashley White, Particulon and Memfrez, Lauren, Uncrastmatic Boar, Sasquatch, Rhonda Stiletto, Midwest Marxist, Joe the Mailman, Gary from West Michigan, Shawnee GG, Juniper Not Jupiter, Stacked Crabs, I Crowley, Urban Peach, Lord of Forlorn, Holt Forsyth, Kevin Kasaya, Schnoodle, Booty Snakes, Erica, Krusty Crab, Dew Fairy, Chelceratops, Austin Lima, Lane Waltz, Azim Fida Hussein, Brooklyn G, Noverk the Dastardly, Goldthorn, Addie Book, Merlin, John from Houston, Anaya, Ian C, Kryel Bongi, That Art Dork, Sergeant Pookie, Connor Nix, Jordan T, Hoodie, Kim Kitsuragi, Rose Grimm, Jamie D. Young Extremist, Jack the Heathen, Archer W, Evan Mingo, AJ Torres, Elo Nico, Jake Hall, Julian Castro, 2028, maybe, I don't know. And my mom, thank you all so much for supporting the show on Patreon. Here's to another year of HITO.
Yes, and just, one more for yourselves, too.
Oh my God.
One more for all of us. Have a great new year. Good night.
And we'll catch you next week.